You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I thought this was America.
I'm sorry!
Congratulations! You've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Joe Sixpack.
Everyone, the live show is coming up rapidly. March 9th, Comedy at the Carlson. It's right here under my name, Rochester, New York. Subreddit Surfing Live, featuring All Apologies podcast and Carl Hamburger doing stand-up. It's going to be super fun. We're going to be roasting the shit out of some guy that used to work for a radio show and then a late night show, and then his whole life completely collapsed before his eyes. It's going to be a blast. So come see us. We're going to have a lot of fun. And Andy, what do we got going on here today?
I'll tell you what we got going on.
Way to go, dude!
Got a couple of apologies that came through on the Instagram content. And the first one is from Doug, who said, do you know how the word racist has no meaning anymore because it's overused? Well, we've reached an oversaturation point with the word sorry. It doesn't mean anything anymore. People just throw the word around to save their jobs, to save face, or to go out of their way to prove that they're not something they're being accused of. No one of these I'm sorries has any actual remorse behind it. If everyone is sorry, then no one is sorry.
He's picking up on the theme of this show.
Yes.
It's why this show was started. Yeah, I mean, the whole reason when we first started talking about this, it was that everybody just apologizes for everything all the time, and it's lost all meaning, is particularly like YouTube apologies and like younger people. But yeah, the celebrity apologies are ridiculous. Andy, I have one from Leo, Lord of the Pit. And Leo, Lord of the Pit says, thanks for the shout out. Glad I could help out in some way. Can't wait to get to that content on Patreon. And then he said, while I'm here, I guess I should apologize for missing the first live show. Wish I could make it. I actually should be asking for an apology from you guys for booking it the same weekend as my big annual vacation. Hope all goes well. And that's Stuttering John's stupid fucking fault, because he didn't want to do it during football season and then had some other bullshit reason for pushing it back to March 9th. Yeah. But yeah, that was nobody's choosing other than Dickhead, who's not even going to be there now. So we'll pick up all the pieces, much like Gen X picking up the pieces for Boomers. We'll pick up that stupid fuckhead's failings as well.
Right. And while we're here, speaking of people that we want to shout out, I want to shout out everybody on the show proper that has been nice enough to join the Patreon. The deal with the Patreon is it's $5, and every week there is a mini show. We just recorded the one about Mark Zuckerberg getting dressed down by Senate. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot to say about that.
Recap of your Instagram posts like throughout the week. I think we're trying to make that maybe more of a bit of a feature, right? Just like a bit of a weekly roundup of everything that you might find on Instagram, as well as a focus on one of those topics. You know, we'll focus in on one and discuss it a little bit more. So you get that on Patreon, as well as this video version of the show. And everybody you still find it on your podcast, the audio form, wherever you get podcasts, but you get the video on Patreon as well as an additional mini-sode.
And it helps us pay for the show. You know, if you appreciate the show and you're enjoying the show, you can help support the show by joining the Patreon for just $5 a month, and you get bonus content every week. How many other shows are giving you bonus content every single week? Some other bigger shows than this are only doing like shows twice a month. But So
certain shows you might mention.
yeah. So yeah, please consider supporting the
We're
show on
working our
Patreon.
fucking asses off over here.
And that being said, I've developed a new bumper to the main segment.
Mm.
Sorry, who's that?
Today we're
Because your
talking.
wife demanded an apology for the terrible quality of the HBO bumper.
Yes, she said that sounds like shit. Make another one. So I made another one that sounds like shit. At any rate, the main topic of today's show is Billy McFarland. And Billy McFarland was the face and brainchild of the infamous Fyre Festival.
Oh,
It's
I thought you were
become-
going to say he drew Spawn.
Yeah. No,
I thought you were going to
invented
say
Family
he
Guy.
invented Family Guy.
Yeah. Well, the Fyre Festival has become synonymous with the words fiasco or debacle. It's
Yeah.
a cautionary tale. People say we don't want another Fyre Festival on our hands when they're talking about the way things should not go.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy McFarland is the poster child for over-promising and under-delivering.
Right.
His skills were confidence and marketing and convincing investors that he could make this festival happen. So he wasn't useless, but he was a spectacular failure. And his weakness was that he had no idea what it took to put on a music festival.
Well, I don't know. Do you get into much of the marketing portion of it?
Of
Because
course,
what was top notch was the marketing end.
correct.
The run up was outstanding, to a degree, in a way. What it seems like is that Billy McFarland went and had a wonderful time in the Bahamas with Ja Rule and a bunch of Instagram models, and that was great. And they filmed it, and then they showed everybody that video, and they're like, "We're going to invite everybody to do this," and it didn't really work out that way.
Yeah, correct. Everybody said that looks like a lot of fun.
Right.
And for some people like Rochester Ray, who might not know what the Fyre Festival was, in clip 2, this is what it was all about.
The Fyre Festival promised pristine waters, beautiful people, luxury accommodations, and A-list entertainment. But when festival goers arrived, they were met with disaster tents, soggy sandwiches, and chaos.
This is an absolute disaster.
Right. So everybody was like, all these rich assholes thought they were going to show up and have a one of a kind experience, and it turned out to be a refugee camp, basically.
Yeah.
And this wasn't only facilitated by Billy McFarland, though. A lot of his clout came from his association with the top tier talent promised to attend. Bella Hadid and Kendall Jenner were signing off on this. Blink 182 is going to perform, but investors saw that Ja Rule had partnered with Billy, and that lent legitimacy to the plan. So, Joe, do you have some explanation about Ja Rule's involvement?
Yeah, well, not so much his involvement, but I mean, if you don't, I guess maybe we'll say Ja Rule was a rapper in the early 2000s. He, kind of a substandard or like a ripoff artist or whatever of say DMX, I would think. But
DMX.
what the poor man's DMX, really. And so he's a rapper who this was like he's past his prime. What am I gonna do next? Ja Rule was kind of like trying to get into all of these like get rich quick schemes, kind of, or whatever. And it ended up kind of being like a match made in heaven between Billy McFarland and Ja Rule. Is just like, we're going to create this whole thing. And, he was starting his own like credit card company at the time or something like that. Things that like don't even make any sense anymore, like post blockchain and cryptocurrency. This was like before that. So it's almost seemed like a run up to maybe cryptocurrency or whatever. Not that that had anything to do with this, but it's just the kind of get rich quick schemes that Ja Rule it was kind of like focused on. He's just like, well, my music career is over, so what am I going to do now?
If only NFTs were invented by then.
Yeah, exactly. Like this was like right before that, right before the explosion of like crypto. And the thing about it, when you look at that, is like these are a bunch of like little crybabies who the problem here is that they were paying a lot of money to attend this concert and saying that you were going to get a villa and things like that, and that was not the case at all. So little rich kid. What I find most amusing about this whole situation is that I watched some of the other like people who attended or whatever, and it was like, oh, I'm an influencer. This is an influencer event that because I'm an influencer, I'm going to attend this, and this event would be nothing if I was not in attendance, and then they all got ripped off, which is hilarious. There's really no. Like if you're a person like myself, there's no losers here. Everyone got fucked over and lost money, and it's hilarious to me. But
do you want to play your Ja Rule clip one
sure,
here?
we could go ahead. My clip two, Joe's clip two, Ed, is so Ja Rule is one of the most prominent people to partner with Billy McFarland on this, and here's his apology to everybody.
I truly apologize, as this is not my fault. But I am taking responsibility. I am deeply sorry to everyone who was inconvenienced by this. Murder.
Yeah, he should have just blamed it all on the ghost of DMX. Murder. So,
well, maybe if he was a little more involved, this wouldn't have happened. He's like, this isn't my fault. But
yeah,
you were co-signing on everything that was happening.
He was the face man to Billy McFarland's Hannibal Smith, basically.
Yeah, and the F team, the world's worst team.
And Bella Hadid was the howling mad Murdoch.
Right. This is famously.
Do you talk about it all? Kendall Jenner's like payout of this?
No.
What happened with her?
No.
With the funny thing is, so one of the biggest parts of the marketing campaign was that they got these models like Bella Hadid and Kendall Jenner to. This was if the event was as well orchestrated as the marketing of this, it would have been tremendous because I don't even know where they were getting the money. If they paid Kendall Jenner like $270,000 to post about this one time, and it was coordinated in the way that, like, much like our background, actually our background looks very similar to this like orange just block within Instagram. Like if you're scrolling, you just come across like this orange block and you'd be like, what the fuck is this all about? And it's just, and it says like Fyre Festival about it. And then you get Kendall Jenner saying, oh, Fyre Fest, you know, I'll be there or something like that. And she was paid $270,000. And most of the time, probably, this is probably where like the freebooting or like calling out people, their content and stuff like that. Like you have to say that this was sponsored or that she was paid to do this because she was paid $270,000 to post about Fyre Festival one time. She was sued or it was brought to court and she had to give back $90,000 of her $270,000 payout. So it's not like she didn't make fucking money. It was just like, okay, drop in the fucking bucket. Who gives a shit? She still made thousands of dollars for fucking posting about this. So, wow, slap on the wrist. Sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, everybody still got fucked over.
Yes. This does famously fall apart. And investors lost upwards of $26 million.
And it seems like it was all coordinated marketing up front.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I said at the top, the marketing was his strength. Right. So Billy gets sentenced to 6 years in jail and has to pay back $25 million. But he also has to bend over on Good Morning America and let the world's worst public speaker, Michael Strahan, dress him down on national television in clip 1, Ed.
Trying to get the money. And I would literally wake up every day to a document that we were called urgent payment sheet. And I had amount of money that I had to acquire before the bank closed that day to stop the company from going underwater. And so I was literally day by day doing whatever it took. And looking back, it was so incredibly stupid.
Admittedly, he didn't even realize how out of control the organization of the show was. A lot like this show, Joe.
Yeah.
So, Michael asks Billy, who were you to this endeavor? Like, what was his role? It's a lot of people would say, I'm an entrepreneur. I was the idea man. But what did Billy say to this question in clip 3?
A lot of people consider you to be the ultimate con man. What do you consider yourself to be?
I was wrong. So I messed up, and I was so driven by this desperate desire to prove people right. I had these early investors, backers, employees, and I think I was just so insecure that I thought the only way to prove myself to them was to succeed. And that led me down just this terrible path of bad decisions.
That doesn't even make sense. That's not even. That's not. Could you answer the question now?
Yeah.
Fuck.
What's your job title? Wrong. My business card says Billy McFarland, professional fuck up. That's my role.
Ed says he's trying to be a senator. How about you want to play my clip 1? Here's the apology from the organizers that was put out on social media. For the video portion here, I've cut the original commercial with footage from some of the attendees that it'll go back and forth from the idyllic to, you know, those things where it's like, you know, you ask mom for McDonald's French fries and she says we have fries at home, and you get like the side by side. So that's what the video is here. But here's the AI apology from the organizers.
We apologize for any inconvenience the past 24 hours has caused, and we look forward to making a considerable donation to the Bahamas Red Cross Society as part of our initiatives. We need to make this right. And once we make this right, then we will put on the Dream Festival we sought to have since the inception of Fyre.
Yeah, so that looks great if it's spring break and terrible if you paid more than $2,000 for it.
Yeah.
My biggest concern would have been the school bus that picked me up to take me from the airport to the venue. That's when I would have been like, what? Because this is the thing. I don't know if you hear about this or if you discuss it later on, Andy, but what people, the bill of goods that people were sold was that you would be flown on a private jet to this exclusive island, and you would be put up in like an 8-person villa. So bring 7 of your closest friends, and you'll have a private villa, and you'll get to see Blink 182, you know, a bastardized version of Blink 182, and, you know, DJ Jizrag or whoever they fucking had lined up here. But none of it. So people got on to the private jet that they promised was just a chartered Spirit Airlines, like a regular, like 747 or whatever that you got on. Nothing special about it. Then you get there and they throw you on a fucking school bus and drive you to, you know, a field of rock and sand that they put FEMA tents on. Now, to be fair, if they build this better, it's like the beds look pretty lush, or, you know, plush, and the accommodations seem good. It's just like, okay, yeah, I mean, it's a music festival. If it was Bonnaroo, you'd be staying in a tent anyway, most likely. So yeah, you get a tent and you get like a bed with a comforter and things like that. That's fine. But the problem is, you told me I'd have a villa, not a fucking tent. You know, the problem is the promise, you know, or being, you know, it was just like, I don't, and then I guess it would like rain the night before. So everything was like soaked and fucked up. And if you're a spoiled trust fund baby who arrives there, then you're just like, what the fuck is this? And that's valid, really. You were lied to.
He said in another interview that they had a guy go around and offer locals probably something meager, like I'll give you $400 if you go stay somewhere else for the weekend. And those were going to be the private villas. And then the guy collected all the keys to the people that he paid the money to let them use their house. And then the person that had all the keys just left.
Now the other thing I guess we should mention is that there's 2 documentary. Like anybody who wants to find out more about this beyond what we're going to outline, there's a Netflix documentary and a Hulu documentary all about this shit.
It's way more in depth. This is all apologies. This is centric to the Billy McFarland,
right?
Good Morning America.
This is the fallout groveling.
Right. So he says he raised over $25 million to organize a music festival, and he put all of that money into trying to make it happen, but he just pissed it all away organizing it. Clip 4.
But was it more to prove yourself, or was it more for money?
It was to prove myself. And once again, I was totally wrong, and I lied to investors to get money. But I put every dollar I had or could find to make this festival happen. And I literally came back to New York after with $100 in my pocket.
Right. I'd love to know dollar for dollar where all this actually went. I'm sure that the document does not exist because
it went to Kendall Jenner.
He was inept. But 25 million? I can't even fathom how much. You said she made like 200,000. It's not in the realm of 25 million. And
well, I mean, that's a quarter of $1 So if you do that, I mean, I don't know how much Bella Hadid get or Emrata, how much they get paid for this, but the models that you're paying to hype it, I that builds up. I mean,
well, yeah, because we know that
turns into millions like in the blink of an eye.
Right. We know that much of it went to enticing influencer-centric would-be concert goers with Uber influencers that we've already mentioned. Like a lot of the money went into that, convincing.
It was a shell game, or it was a Ponzi scheme, right? Like one of the things that I, in my quote unquote research of this, was one of the people who bought tickets. They were like, "Oh, it's going to be completely cashless, and you need to start loading up your Fyre Festival card before you get here, and you should count on it costing about $500 a day in like drinks and food and shit." And what that was we're out of money. We need you to start buying into this already because we've busted our fucking nut on everything leading up to this.
Right. So all these entitled snobs get fucked over. Like you said, that's the funniest part. Everybody that went here thinking that they were going to get pampered and then all they got was a cot and a cheese sandwich. That's why this story is so funny.
Yeah.
So then those influencers then had to apologize for their involvement in it.
Right.
Do you have?
I have. So we have my clip 4, Ed, is going to be Bella Hadid was one of the models. You see her in the actually, I think in this clip you'll see her. So she was a model influencer that was paid to promote Fyre Festival on her Instagram. And then the whole Orange Square campaign that came out. Now, this was like Fuck Jerry. I don't know if you remember Fuck Jerry, Andy, at one point. They also kind of have like a kind of a pathetic end to their existence. But it was all this coordinated ad campaign that was very successful, actually. But so she had to come out and apologize for her involvement, and she issued this apology for her part in defrauding her followers and the attendees.
I initially trusted this would be an amazing and memorable experience for all of us, which is why I agreed to do one promotion, not knowing about the disaster that was to come. I feel so sorry and badly because this is something I couldn't stand by, although of course if I would have known about the outcome, You would have all known too.
Yeah. So one of the things that I thought was kind of funny was that as this was all like kind of being a catastrophic shit show, what they did have was they deployed a small team of shot girls with like bottles of vodka. Like in that clip, you see like somebody pouring a shot into a guy's mouth. That was like the crowd control of like, go settle these people down with fucking liquor. And, like, obviously, they don't have enough liquor to fucking calm the situation down. But that whole thing was like, just go fucking throw these dumb shits a bone while we make off with their money.
Yeah. And there were some people that tried to be the voice of reason with Billy. He was so driven by getting to the outcome that he was ignoring all of the warning signs. So why wouldn't Billy listen to these people that had a head on their shoulders in clip 5?
You did have so many people, employees, who said, we cannot make this happen in time. I'm just so curious as to why you didn't just pull the plug well ahead of the festival.
I should have listened, and there's no excuse.
How can you expect people to believe that what you're saying right now is the truth? And how can you expect people to believe that this entire festival wasn't just a con?
So first off, what I told investors was it was wrong. And I think the hardest thing for me is the trust that I violated, and whether it was friends, investors, or employees, people gave up a lot to try to make this happen. And it's how do I call them now and look them in the eye when I let them down? I just really should have canceled everything and just stopped lying.
Right. In one of the 2 documentaries, one of the managers of the festival famously recounts entertaining the possibility of having to suck somebody's dick to get water for people that are stranded on this island. That's when you pull the plug. When that guy says, "Can we pull the plug because I just got my throat plugged?" That's when you say, we have to shut this down. We got to do something else. Let's get everybody out of here and wave the white flag.
The thing that I don't understand about this at all is like, who are the acts that were supposed to be there? With that, like, at what point does Billy McFarland go, well, nobody, Blink-182 is not coming here. You're still going to go let a whole bunch of stupid jerk-offs show up here and have a bad time. Yeah, I mean, the crowd is the least of the problems. Like, if you're Billy McFarland, it's just like, okay, you have investors, people that are counting on you, your reputation's on the line. There's a who's who of models and entertainers that are expecting a certain level of professionalism, and you're just completely falling short to the point where, like, okay, now it's the day of and nothing is set up.
Yeah. Joe, you have to spend money to make money. Okay. In theory, the only way out of this was for everyone waiting, to have everybody waiting for the next one. You know, that I think that's what he thought was going to happen. This was going to go in the hole, but everybody was going to have a good time, and eventually it would turn a corner. But you can't return a jet ski ride, right? You can't return fucking a hooker on a yacht, a rented yacht. That's what Ja Rule. That's why Ja Rule is like, I don't know where all the money went. Yeah, you do. You were getting a blowjob from Bella Hadid on a rented yacht, and you can't refund that to an investor.
That was some of the smartest people, or like the richest of people. Yeah. Well, no, like even like the low level, like influencers or whatever, who like had some type of management, were just like, don't go there. You know, like, I've been to the Bahamas, and that island in the Bahamas is not great. So stay elsewhere, you know? And so I watched one video of like there was like a yacht off that they were all staying on this boat, and they would like take a skiff in for the show. And then when it was time when everything was over, they'd go back to the boat, and they were eating on the boat and sleeping on the boat. It's
That's
like
what I'm saying.
that was a smart person. It's just everybody else. He was just like, I'm staying in a villa. Like, no, you're a fuck up. You spent $500. You thought your $500 was going to get you a villa. You're an idiot.
So what was the biggest takeaway from this experience? What were Billy's lessons learned?
What did you learn about yourself in prison?
I used to take pride in getting things done and not how things got done. And so I think going forward, the biggest thing for me is building relationships throughout the process. And whether there's success or failure in the business sense, it's more about how it's done instead of taking pride of this like by all means idea. And that's wrong.
He should have spent some of that 26 million on some dental work. That guy's lisp is driving me crazy.
He learned all about his prison wallet and keystering, some cigarettes into prison so he could, survive in there without having to be somebody's girlfriend. But sure, it didn't work out.
Yeah. Who else learned some lessons from this event, Joe? What other clips do you have?
Okay, so I said Blink-182 was one of the people there, and Matt Skiba was the guitar player for Alkaline Trio. And when Tom DeLonge decided that his personal project was more important than Blink-182, Matt Skiba stepped in to play guitar with Blink-182. Now they were slated to be there, and much like Fyre Festival was pretending to be a music festival, Blink-182 was pretending to be a punk band. And here is Matt Skiba's apology for their involvement. My clip 3.
2. The Blink fans that came down, I am so sorry to you guys. We have a job because you guys come out and listen to our band, and it was a relief to be home, but I also felt guilty. There's people down there drinking warm vodka and eating bologna sandwiches in a mud pit. I am sorry.
They got vodka and bologna? It sounds like a step up from any party playing Blink-182 right now. How fucking tragic.
Yeah. Nikki Six says it sounds good.
Yeah. I want to circle back real quick. One of the things that Bella Hadid, that like Kendall Jenner, I probably for legal reasons, because she was, she was forced to like pay some of that back. What like Bella Hadid, these people, they get paid to lend their image and likeness to whoever pays them, right? So they were paid to do this. Now, I'm sure it was like labeling that as sponsored content was the problem here, but it's like whoever pays me, I'm a model. I stand there and hold up the product and say, this is, I like it. This is how I make money. I have nothing to do with the event itself other than the advertising of it. Like it's like asking Cindy Crawford to apologize on behalf of Pepsi because I got diabetes. Like that makes no sense. I mean, her apology, it's kind, but unnecessary. Like she's just a face to a product. It's not her fault.
Yeah.
Same with like Blink-182. Like, they said we were going to play, and last I heard there wasn't even a fucking stage. What am I supposed to do?
I know their roadies get there and go, "This is a disaster area. Do not come here."
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
now,
we have the wherewithal to have harbingers of our fucking event. People that show up in advance and let us know that that there's no brown M&Ms in the bowl.
Yeah, right. But this is all apologies, Joe. Where is Billy McFarland's apology? All right, he finally comes out with it in clip 8.
Hey guys, it's Billy McFarland.
He also had the new business.
And you say you were here to apologize, to say you're sorry. But you're also launching a new venture called Pirate. Are you here to really apologize, or are you here more to promote that?
Yeah. So I need to apologize. And that is the first and last thing that needs to be done is I let people down.
How do you expect people to trust you?
Time and just doing little things on a weekly basis and just slowly building. I went way too fast before. So I need to do everything now in a manageable way that I can actually make work.
Right. We're blue collar guys. Just a regular jack off. I can't wrap my brain around pissing away that much money. And I don't think Billy McFarland can. I don't think he even knew like the bills that were piling up. Because he doesn't really seem to. He has a vision for what he wants to see happen.
He's
but
an idea man.
Right. He doesn't know what it takes to pull it off. And I think that was the whole problem with this, right?
Yeah. And, the investors and attendees and the marketing people or the influencers that may have had like damaged reputation, that's really nothing compared to the people of the Bahamas who their whole livelihood is centered on tourism and people who are coming there. And in my clip 5, Andy, we've heard from the people who failed to live up to the promises and obligations in relation to this failed endeavor. But did you know that the Bahamas itself also apologized? Clip 5, Ed.
We are extremely disappointed in the way the events unfolded yesterday with the Fyre Festival. We offer a heartfelt apology to all who traveled to our country for this event. Tourism is our #1 industry, and it is our aim to deliver world-class experiences and events.
Yeah, so there was a larger statement from them. That's just the apology portion. But can you imagine the collective butthole pucker that occurred from the residents of that island whose livelihood depends on the tourism there? Yeah, fuck the trust fund babies that had, to eat bologna for the first time in their stupid lives. The folks that make their living on that island were the real victims. Like, that's just like the complete lack of awareness from Billy McFarland when it comes to this. Is I have like all of this going on. I can't even bother to think about the little people I'm stepping on just to make something fail,
Right.
tremendously.
The long-term repercussions of some travel agent going, hey, do you want to go to the island that hosted the Fyre Festival? And everybody collectively going, fuck no, I'll go anywhere
it
else.
Sucks ass.
Yes. So nobody's spending any money there now. And, how does Billy turn his reputation around from this?
So are you truly a changed man, or is this just a spin?
I hope I continue to change for the next 40 years. So I'm certainly not done changing yet.
For as long as you live, no matter what you do, how much restitution you make up in terms of financial or in goodwill, some people will never forgive you. Are you okay with that?
I understand. And I think for me, it needs to start with finding internal pride. So I want to be proud of myself first. And I think if I can do that and live like that for a long period of time, I might have a second chance. But if I don't, I understand. And I committed far more ethical, moral violations than most people do in many lifetimes. So I get that if that was my one shot.
There's not enough time in the world for anybody in their right mind to be like, I want to be in the business with the Fyre Festival fuck up. That's what I'm hitching my wagon to.
Yeah. Everyone in the Bahamas is like,
oh, shut the fuck up.
That's right.
Yeah.
But there are some people. So Billy McFarland goes to jail for 6 years. Finally gets out. And the first place you talk about who are the people that want to be in business with Billy McFarland. I'll tell you who it is. The Nelk Boys. Because as soon as Billy gets out of jail, he runs right over to the Full Send podcast to talk about what a great prank the Fyre Festival was.
Steiny loved it.
Clip 10.
I think we're almost at 200,000 views. And guys, for me, like a social media fucking loser is pretty cool. Like I've been out of the game for a while.
What was the first post?
Basically saying I'm back. I want to make this up to everybody. I've got something new, but this time everybody.
Right. So game recognized game, and jack-offs can smell their own, because Billy's got this new idea called Pirate, Pyrt, which is basically trying to follow through on some kind of event, which is like a treasure hunt festival thing. Again, it's all talk. It's all an idea that's never going to work out, right? And the guys pull up Billy's first TikTok post and they start reading the comments, and it's cryptic and funny all at the same time, and depressing all at the same time in clip 11.
Society loves giving people who bring no productive value to anything second chances, so I fully expect to see this guy rich and successful in 1 year.
But I read another one on there.
You capping, bro.
Yeah, yes. And how annoying is it going to be when Billy McFarland turns this all around and becomes a success? I'm just going to start scamming the elderly when I see that happening, because there is no God.
Yeah. I scammed them because I'm smart.
Yeah, right.
I'm rich and they're not, and that makes me smart.
Yes. It justifies everything.
I think there was some Ja Rule interview of him, like I think it's called Icon, was like the other like venture or like post this thing that he was trying to start. I think it's like Cameo, only for like very like successful entertainers. You know what I mean? Like most Cameo people are, it's Sarah John and.
So why is Ja Rule on there then?
Well, I just think that was like his business idea was like you can have legitimately famous people attend an event or something like that.
Yeah.
I might be getting that wrong, but
did you have another Ja Rule clip before we get towards we only have 2 more clips here, Joe.
Oh, sure. We can wrap up. So or we talked about the Bahamas, people there getting fucked over. The biggest thing was that there was a woman there. You'll see like a building in a lot of these clips. It was like the only restaurant anywhere near anything. And when nobody knew where to go, they sent them to Marianne Roll's restaurant. And it like decimated her whole business, basically. She was trying to serve these people. So in our last clip here, DMX, Ja Rule offers an apology to this one local business owner that stepped up to try and accommodate these stranded people.
My heart goes out to this lovely lady. Marianne Rawl, we have never met, but I am devastated that something that was meant to be amazing turned out to be such a disaster and hurt so many people. Sorry to anyone who has been negatively affected by the festival. Rule. Murder.
So a GoFundMe was started to help Marianne Roll, and it raised like $250,000. Not even as much as what Kendall Jenner was paid to post about it. So for Marianne, they raised $250, and then some crooked asshole bitch that was affiliated with her tried to like withhold that money in exchange for a portion of it. And so that had to then be resolved, and she did finally get it. And she spread it out to kind of like the other people on the island, the guy who was driving the fucking school bus or some other people. Meanwhile, Ja Rule could have sold one earring and made it up to this lady, but he didn't do that, to my knowledge, allegedly. A drop in the fucking bucket for that guy could have taken care of these people, but, I'm sure he didn't do that.
Yeah. The guy that got his dick sucked for the water started a GoFundMe too.
Mm-hmm.
So Billy has a plan that sounds just as organized as Fyre Festival was in clip 12.
Pirate is all about taking people to places that they think are impossible. So, I have to do a Pirate Fest, right? It's like, it can't be tomorrow. It can't be in 4 months, but there's going to be a Pirate Fest. It's going to be like, imagine the number of people. But we're going to do it in a really unique way. But, Pirate Fest and.
Well, you've said nothing, and that's how much I trust you. So at least we're on the same page.
What a fucking idiot.
It takes people to places they think is impossible because it is impossible and it's never going to happen. That's what he just said.
Ed says his mic technique is incredible.
Yeah, it's almost as good as mine.
Yeah.
The only redemption story is for this Pirate Fest thing to be a success, right? That's the only way that he repairs his reputation. And the Nelk boys are all about it. Clip 13.
Fucking get a story of one artist and fans there and them having a good time, and you're proving people wrong.
100%. The island is so beautiful and it's fun. Like, make it activities, get some good music, and you're gonna meet fun people and have a great time. And that's what it's all about.
You do have to do a festival, honestly, point two,
You got
2.0,
to.
because like
Yeah,
there's
you
already
have
so
to.
much built up behind it that like if you finally do it, it's like a whole nother fucking like Netflix thing.
I'm going. If there's a
Like,
festival,
straight
I'm
up.
there.
I'm going, dude.
Thank you guys. And I think the
I
cool
will
thing
be
is
there.
people will go just to see what happens. Like, I think like people who hate me will be the first ones to want to come. Like, yo, I gotta be here to shit on this guy.
Oh, great. So do you want to invest in Pirate Steiny? No? Why not? Because I'm Chernobyl radioactive? Oh, you'll sell me all the Happy Dad seltzer that I could buy to sell it there, but you don't want to invest in Billy McFarland? Shocker.
Steiny's like, yeah, we'll sell 22 ounces of Happy Dad there for $50 a can.
Yes, right. Well, let's hope Pirate Fest works out because Billy McFarland is having his wages garnished till he pays back $25 million. And I just don't see that ever happening. He's going to die in debt is what I see happening with Billy McFarland.
Wasn't the whole reason like he was like accessible for the Netflix and Hulu documentaries was to help pay that back? I wonder what he got paid for those. I wonder like what kind of dent. Obviously he's like out there hustling, trying to like make the next thing happen. I mean, whatever. You can only make so many fucking documentaries about your failure before nobody gives a shit anymore. Yeah. Who else tried to suck dick for water on this? Can we make a documentary about them?
Yeah. Well, that brings us to whether or not we accept or reject this apology, Joe. What do you think?
No.
You don't think he sounds sincere? The guy did 6 years in jail.
Yeah. He is sorry. I mean,
he's this sorry. I'll tell you.
Fuck-ups are sorry.
This is it.
I'm sorry.
He got sentenced and went to jail. And he sang that song to the judge, and then that's him singing that.
We gotta get the video of that so we can like when we play the drop, we can see the video of.
Oh yeah,
now that guy. We really like. I mean, that drop was introduced before this was a video podcast, and I think I had to explain that everybody in the arraignment, courtroom is just like sitting there like that whole thing is normal. That that this guy's singing to the judge. Only one guy is just like.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get the video of that.
Yeah. But I do think that he definitely regrets everything that happened with that. Did not work out.
I think, I mean, Full Send Podcast is not probably the place to talk about, like, I don't know much about that podcast, but I do know, like, Steiny kind of gets clowned a little bit here and there. I don't know that, like, that's the place that I would try and come back. But I do think it has the video of play the prison video thing, Ed.
Your Honor, I want to say I'm sorry for the things I've done, and I try and be stronger in this life I chose, but I want you to know that door I closed. In Your Honor, I'm sorry. To my mother, I'm sorry. To the victim, I'm sorry, 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 sorry. Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry, 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 sorry. Oh. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I hope the governor commuted his
Yeah.
after that.
What did he hope to accomplish with that? Is the real
I don't know.
question.
He's sorry. I mean,
Yes.
what? I have nothing else to offer but the gift of song.
Yeah.
But back to, I do think there is some type of value in Billy McFarland being associated with something. I wouldn't put him in charge of anything.
You put him in a dunk tank and let people throw rotten tomatoes at him.
Yeah, that would be a great use of him. Yeah, everybody come and we'll throw pies at this guy and call him a jerk off. We'll put him in a stockade and little kids can kick him in the balls
Yeah.
all day long. That would be a good use. So there is some type of value in him being associated with something, but he would never be in charge of it, or I don't even know what I would pay him. Like, I wouldn't pay him 50 grand to be involved in anything. I certainly wouldn't expect him to spearhead the organization of something.
That's right. But you know who's not sorry, Joe? Everybody that's joined our Patreon. They're all very happy with the content we're putting out on there. And we're all very happy that they're nice enough to support the show. If you're listening to this and you are not checking out the Patreon, the least you could do, go over to the Instagram, like and follow on there, comment and post your apologies or demand apologies in the comment section. And if you can't even do that, just rate and review the show wherever you find podcasts. For Trucker Andy and Joe Sixpack,
stay sorry.